Now Tony Hull will respond on behalf of the bridesmaids.
Come on, Tony.
Crikey, come on, it's your life.
Right. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Drew on behalf of the bridesmaids for his kind words. Now, it's fair to say that being a best man can be a nerve-wracking experience. As you would expect, there is one person here this afternoon feeling rather nervous, apprehensive and queasy about what lies ahead. All I can say is don't worry, and it will probably pass because you've just met with Drew. Now, as you're aware, there are two best men today, and with that in mind, if you find this speech offending, then please feel free to blame Mr. Merrick. However, if you find it funny, then thank me. Now, we'll get to the nitty-gritty part. Drew Bradshaw was born on February the 14th, 1973. He was the youngest son of JB and Margaret, and they described him as the perfect baby. Although, he did have a habit of only taking a small amount of his bottle before falling asleep. A habit he has kept for the rest of his life. Drew started his education at Oundle Playgroup at the age of 3. His attendance was poor, and he was always falling ill with tonsillitis. He soon moved on to Laxton Junior and Senior schools before finally going to Loughborough University, where he came out with a Mechie in engineering. Whilst there, he joined the University Wine Club, and he now considers himself a wine connoisseur. He learned that there were two types of wine, red and white, and he's now working towards being able to distinguish them. After university, Drew had a brief spell at Machine Mart before making the decision to travel around the world with me. Now, I'm sure you can imagine the things we got up to. Most nights were spent in the pubs and clubs, and whilst I was getting stuck into the beer, Drew was strutting his stuff on the dance floor and flirting with anything that had a pulse. Drew was a terrible flirt, and when I say terrible, I mean he was crap. As some of you may know, Drew very kindly gave me the nickname of Foggy. Well, I can tell you all now that our own Drewby is not as sweet as you may think. Whilst on a skiing trip in St Anton with Dickie, we were enjoying some après skiing when two stunning girls entered the bar, and with no hesitation, Drew was off to try and pull. Badly. But, to our surprise, he was with them for half an hour until he came over to us with a huge smile on his face. So we asked him, "How did it go, Drew?" He replied, "Not so good. Crashed and burned, so I farted and left."
That sounds about right.
Whilst we thought this was very amusing, it soon became to our advantage as the queue at the bar was soon heading for the door. It's true. True does stand here. Now, when it comes to sport, Drew is a jack of all trades, but a master of none, except for his karting. As you may know, he's been Five Nations champion and Pro Kart champion 2 years on the trot and 3 times runner-up. All this by the time he was 20. Now, if you'd like to take a look, the young Mr. Bradshaw, and as you can see from the helmet, Drew had a huge disadvantage from an early age. And the decision was made without any hesitation to have his ears pinned back. And this decreased his lap time by over 30 seconds.